What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a brand new video on this channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to get the most insane value ever from your Hero Sui every single time. Hero Sui, Hero Dive, Kill Squad, whatever you want to call it. What I am referring to when I say the Hero Sui is just the King, the Queen, and the Siege Machine together. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Before you can even think about your Sui, though, you have to get a good opener with your attack. What I mean by the opener is either the RC charge, the Fireball, the Queen Warden charge, whatever it may be. It is the phase before you place your King and Queen down. This part has to be good to make sure there's a good path for your King and Queen to go wreck the remaining part of the base. So I want to quickly go over the Spirit Fox timings with the RC charge, because a lot of people seem to be confused about this. If you already know the Spirit Fox timings, feel free to skip this part of the video. I will add timestamps. But for those of you who don't, there's two different ways you can use the Spirit Fox. You can either single cycle or double cycle. The difference between them, a single cycle is only using one invis spell placed at every 6-second mark. So 2 minutes 56, 2 minutes 46, 2 minutes 36, and so on. A double cycle, though, requires two invis spells, one at every 7-second mark and one at every 3-second mark. So 2 minutes 57, 2 minutes 53, 2 minutes 47, 2 minutes 43, 2 minutes 37, 2 minutes 33, and so on. But what is really the difference between these two, and when should you do each of them? That is a very good question. So you want to double cycle whenever you're in a high damage area, like somewhere in the middle of this base. But you always want to single cycle whenever you're in a low damage area, like near the outside of the base. Your first cycle or two tend to usually be single cycles, because near the outside of the base there's usually not too much damage. And you always want to single cycle when you can, because you're obviously going to save a spell, but don't risk it, because by risking it, what I mean is there's going to be a split second on a single cycle where your Fox and RC do take some damage, and it is very, very important that you do not let them take too much damage from too many defenses, or you will lose the Fox, which then in return will end up making you lose your RC. So basically, think about it like this: single cycle whenever you can, whenever there's not too much damage. Double cycle whenever there is a lot of damage and you don't want to risk losing your Fox. I'm going to quickly just do an RC charge to show you what I mean. This will be very, very quick. So basically, this first cycle, we can easily get away with a single cycle. I'm going to put my RC by this mortar and force it towards this revenge tower over here. And it's going to be really easy because there's not a lot of damage near this outside area. So we can place the first spell at 2 minutes 56 very, very easily. But then the next spell has to be placed at 2 minutes and 47 because we're approaching a very high damage area. And then the next spell after this, 2 minutes and 43. We can't take any risks because we're in such a high damage area. We have to just double cycle every time in the middle of the space. 2 minutes 37, next spell at 2 minutes 33, and so on. And then the last spell I will place at 2 minutes and 27. So unfortunately, this bomb hive is super annoying, and it is still in the game, so it does end up making us lose our Fox. But it is fine, because look at the amount of value we got and kept the RC alive with a nice amount of health. This is how to do a proper RC charge. You just double cycle whenever you're in your high damage area, and single cycle when you're in a not high damage area. So with that being said, let's get straight into the Hero Sui. I just wanted to go over this really quickly for those of you who are confused about the RC charge. The Hero Sui is not the first phase of the attack. For those of you guys who did not know this already, there is always an opening phase that happens before you place the King and the Queen. Whether it is an RC charge, a Fireball, a Queen Warden charge, a Blimp, a Blizzard, whatever it may be, there's always going to be an opening phase that happens before you place your King and your Queen. And it is very, very, very important that you nail this first phase of the attack. It is arguably more important than the Hero Sui itself to nail this first phase of the attack, because if you get a really good opener, it makes the rest of the attack so much easier. I promise you guys that. Like, if you can just nail the opener, it requires significantly less spells and troops to funnel your Sui in the correct direction. So with that being said, I'm only going to be going over like the RC charge opener in this video, because that is what my army, the Hogs, currently use. But don't worry, because the fundamentals are the same for every single opener: the Fireball, the Queen Warden charge, the Blimp, Blizzard, whatever it is. Because basically all you're doing is removing a chunk of the base with this first opener. And it doesn't really matter what your opener is, because there's just going to be a chunk removed of the base, and then that opener is gone. And then you move on to the Sui. So let me just put this RC charge in the background. This is an example of a really, really good RC charge. It splits the base in half perfectly, which then makes it so that I can do a really, really good Sui really, really easily. So I'm going to let this RC charge play out, and then I'll pause the replay here and explain to you exactly how much of the base I want my Sui to take down. So the RC charge is going in here and gutting the core. We are taking down this entire core, the most toxic area of the base. I popped the haste vial here, and we have now successfully gutted the core, or we will have in just a moment. I could pick my RC up here, but I used another spell because why not? And I believe I picked her up, like, right over here, I think. Okay, perfect. So this is an example of a very, very good opener. Look what I've done. I have split the base in half. So now, if we take a look at this base, I'm going to screenshot it. I'm going to quickly explain to you guys how much of the base exactly I want the Hero Sui to take down. I want them to take down half of the base. So I'm going to make the Sui red. They are responsible for taking down all of this, about half of the base. And then the hogs can finish off the remaining half of the base. Hogs will be yellow, but don't worry about the hogs. Just pay attention to the red part of the base. It is about 50% of the remaining base. And it's actually super easy for the Sui to do this. Although there's one important thing you have to keep in mind. You have to pull out the clan castle troops. I don't know if I did already or if I'm about to in just a second. But either way, I pulled out the clan castle troops with just like some archers or whatever, just some small troops. And then I killed them before I put the Sui in. One huge thing. You never, ever, ever, ever want your Sui to have to deal with clan castle troops, especially if it's ice golems. Your Sui will get absolutely cooked if there are 2 or 3 ice golems in there, because it's going to freeze up your heroes, and there's nothing you can do about it. These defenses are just going to wreck your heroes, and there is nothing you can do. So the worst possible thing you can do is have your heroes deal with ice golems, especially when they're under fire from a lot of other defenses. Always pull out the clan castle troops. You will notice that in every single one of these replays I will show you. I always pull out the clan castle troops. This is one of the most important parts of the Sui. But then you may be wondering, how am I going to get the Sui to take down this much of the base? Well, it's really easy. You're going to start with your queen. We're going to put the queen right over here. So basically, there's 2 different options of where you could start your Sui, and it's either right here or right here, and it's the same on every single base. The RC chart splits the base in half, and then you have an option if you want to start on the left side or the right side of where the RC split the base. And you can choose whichever one looks like the right side to you. There's no right or wrong decision. Just one side's going to be easier to deal with and one side's going to be harder to deal with. I tend to like to put my Sui on the side that is easier to deal with, because if I put them in too much damage, there's a chance they might die too quickly. But if I put them in less damage, there's a good chance that they're going to live for a long amount of time. So with that being said, you start with the queen, and then you want to use either like log launcher or troop launcher. You could use siege barracks depending what army you're using, but I never use it. I really only use log launcher or troop launcher. The log launcher is going to be green. We're going to send the log launcher to angle something like that. Ideally open the walls by the revenge tower, but it's fine if it doesn't, because the only walls I really need opened is this one and this one, because this allows for my king to go in here and then just take down all of the stuff with his ability. So basically, this might seem a little bit complicated. I'm going to just resume the replay now. Keep in mind how much of the base I wanted to take down with my Sui. So we're going to start the replay now, and let's see what I do. Okay, I'm pulling the clan castle troops. Perfect. Well played, Gavin. It looks like there's already a furnace that I've already dealt with. Or no, it's headhunters and ice golems. So I pulled them off to a corner. Just pull them off to like any corner where you can safely deal with the CC troops. And also, one more very, very important thing is that there's many different ways that you can do a Hero Sui. Like, you can use a lot of different troops. You could use a golem and an ice golem. That is my favorite method. Although you can also use druids. You could also use healers. You can use just like 4 ice golems. You can use a bunch of yetis. There's like a million different troops you can put with your Sui that can still work. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just personal preference. My personal preference, though, is golem plus 2 ice golems. This is my favorite method of a Sui. I tend to get the most value with it. But again, there is no right or wrong method. There's so many different things you can do. But if you notice here, the ice golems are not really going to the corner. So we have to adapt on the spot. Notice what I do with the ice golems. I put this archer right here. This archer is huge because this archer pulls the ice golems over here. If I didn't put that archer there, then the ice golems go to my queen, and now my queen is going to be frozen by ice golems while under damage from a bunch of other defenses. Very important. Always find a way to deal with those ice golems away from your Sui. Anyways, my Sui is looking pretty solid right now. Log launcher has opened up the 2 walls I wanted to open. We have the king and queen both pretty much at full health heading into this core of the base. And one way to tell if you're doing your Sui right, especially just like with hogs, notice how I'm putting the hogs in early. That's not the focus of this video, but a really good sign that you're doing your Sui right is if your queen never dies. If your queen never dies, you have done a perfect Sui. Just remember that. If your queen dies like right towards the end of the attack, you've done a very good Sui. Not perfect, but very, very good. And if your queen dies early, like by the time you're just sending your hogs in, you have done a terrible Sui. So that's how you tell how good your Sui was when the queen dies. Queen never dies, your Sui was perfect. queen dies right at the end, your Sui was very good. And if your queen dies early, your Sui was trash. So keep that in mind. Now, the point of the hogs, notice this king ability opens up the walls. And the heroes might go get the revenge tower, but I don't even need them to do that. Looks like they do. I really didn't even need them to do that. The hogs could have got that. That's just a bonus. But with the hogs, like, I'm not supposed to be talking about the hogs in this video. But with the hogs, you use them to tank some damage. Notice how I'm tanking the scatter shot, enemy royal champion, like all these defenses to take some damage off of my heroes. This was just a flawless attack, to be honest. Notice what I said about the queen. If the queen never dies, you did a perfect Sui. The queen is at full health. This was perfect. There was absolutely nothing wrong with this attack. And you can tell that. We have swag spells. You can tell that because the queen was at full health. So hopefully you guys learned something from this replay, but we're going to check out some more replays where I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with you guys. The next replay, we're taking a look at this one. I'm just going to throw the RC charge on the background over here, and then I'll pause it once the RC charge is done. Another small thing I kind of forgot to mention in that first replay is do not be afraid to use troops and spells to help your Sui. That is the whole point of these troops and spells. Use whatever spells you need. Like, say your queen is getting shot by the monolith. Use a spell. Don't just let the queen get shot by the monolith. Say your king is getting, like, shredded by, I don't even know, like, the monolith or the revenge tower. Use a spell. Use a freeze or an invis or, like, whatever you need to use. Use a spell. Use troops, too. If you need to tank a defense, put a Yeti or an Ice Golem in there. Tank a defense. Don't be afraid to use your tools, guys. That is why you have the tools. Use your tools. Looks like I pick up my RC over here. And this was a pretty good RC charge on this base. We took out like a nice chunk of the base over here, and we got a CC pull. This is very important. Say I wouldn't have got a CC pull here, I would have then angled like some regular hog riders, like from like this Dark Elixir drill to go onto the multi-gear and pull out the CC troops. But we did get a CC pull, so we don't even have to worry about that. Now, let me screenshot the base and show you guys how much of the base the Sui is responsible for. So there's many different ways of where you could put your Sui. Again, the two spots where you could start them would be either over here or over here. Always only two spots. It would not make any sense to start your Sui in any other spot besides these two spots, because this is where your RC funneled, so you already have a path set up. You can either go on the left or the right. Remember that. A lot of people get confused. Where do I start my Sui? You always only have two options. You can choose which one looks better to you. On this base, I decided to go by the Town Hall with the Sui because I don't really love leaving an Invis Tower on the Town Hall up till the very end of the attack. I would prefer to get that taken out early. So that is my thought process of why we started the Sui over here. How do I remove these little red dots? All right, there we go. There we go. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. Okay, anyways, the Sui is responsible for taking down this whole Town Hall section, the Revenge Tower, and then they're gonna have plenty of health. That's not a lot of damage. So I also want them to go over here and take down, like, ideally, like this much of the base. I'd like them to get this Inferno as well. And this is about half of the remaining base. If we just like color this in real quick, this is right about 50% of the remaining base. That's what your Sui tends to be responsible for. And then the hogs can come in here and finish off this part of the base. It's about half the base. So in general, you want your Sui to take down half the base. You want your hogs to take down half the base. And of course, pull the clan castle off to a spot where you won't have to deal with it. That is how to do it. But now let me show you the replay of how it actually played out. So let's play this. Let's see, where do I pull the clan castle to? That should be the first thing that I do. Looks like I'm deciding. Alright, I pulled him over here. So I couldn't really find a spot where I'd be out of range of any defenses. So I just use all my archers. This is why I have like 6 archers in my army, because I can use them to pull clan castle troops all the way off to the corner. If it's a Ice Hound, Ice Golem like this, super easy CC to deal with. Just put all your archers and a baby dragon and then a Valkyrie to deal with the Ice Golem and chuck a poison on them, and you don't even have to look at them. Now, the Sui over here. I see I put the Valkyrie and then a poison there. Perfect. Sui over here. There is an Invis Tower, but hey, you got the King ability, so it doesn't really matter anyways. What I do is I put a Yeti in here. Yeti to trigger the Invis Tower, then we'll have, like, probably the King ability go open that. Kind of depends. And here I'm using the Troop Launcher, because it doesn't really make much sense to run the Log Launcher in this situation. The most value it would possibly get would be opening up one wall. So why would I use a Siege Machine to open up one wall? It doesn't make any sense. So we just use the Troop Launcher. This Troop Launcher is brilliant. I love using it with my Sui. It provides amazing tanking and also pops out Yetis from the clan castle to go and help my Sui out. It is brilliant. I do love the Troop Launcher, guys. Probably my second favorite siege. Hogs are already coming in, but don't pay attention to them. Just look at the Sui. I still actually have the King ability and the Queen ability, and they're both at full health. So this is looking good. Another small thing I forgot to mention is use your funneling troops. On this base wasn't exactly the best example because there wasn't any base to funnel, but usually I am using the Yetis, Valkyries, whatever troops I have to force my heroes in one direction, but just in this base, we didn't really need to do that. But anyways, pay attention to the Sui. Remember I said I wanted them to get this Inferno? Well, they're going to get it because I still got the King ability. King ability can open this wall. Spiky balls will then take down all these defenses and force the King in towards this Inferno. Boom, just like that. And look at the amount of value that this Sui got. It got everything that I was aiming for. We get the scatter shot as well. We get the Inferno. This is how to do a perfect Sui. So over here, the queen did die just a few seconds ago, but the king is still alive. So this was still a very, very good Sui. Wasn't exactly perfect. We could have sent the hogs in maybe 5 seconds earlier and probably would have kept the queen alive, but it still works. We have 2 swag spells. The king is still alive. This was a very, very good example. Let's check out another one. Okay, next base I want to show you guys is this one. This is arguably the most popular base in Legend League right now. Everybody is using it because it hard counters Dragon Rider spam, and it's actually super easy for my army, which is good news. But we're going to let the RC charge play out in the background over here, and then I'm going to talk to you guys about the actual Sui. RC charge wasn't exactly perfect either. We lose the Fox, but with this army, good news, losing the Fox literally does not matter. So RC charge goes in here and takes out a Rage Tower. All I need is a CC full. So as soon as these clan castle troops come out, I can comfortably pull out my RC. Just waiting. I have my finger on the recall at this point, waiting for those CC troops to come out, and perfect, we get the CC out. Now pull the CC off to one corner over there, and now looking at the base, I'm going to pause it right here, because based off of what I have told you guys already, tell me right now, or just think about it in your head, where are the 2 possible spots I could put my Sui? You should know this answer if you've been paying attention. Well, the answer is either right here or right here. Because this is where the RC funneled. RC funneled out this chunk of the base, which means that we can either start right on the left or right on the right. Just depends what I like more. There is no right or wrong answer. So I choose over here because I like to get the town hall taken out. If I'm kind of scared that there's a chance of a 1-star, I'd rather just go right into the town hall. And what the Sui is responsible for is this much of the base, which is a nice chunk of the base, right about 50% of the base. This is, I would say it's about 50% of the remaining base. It's the other Rage Tower, and then the hogs can come in and finish off. I send them in from over here, and they can go finish off this remaining part of the base. About maybe like 60% of the base over here, but we get the really scary area out with the Sui. We get the Rage Tower, Revenge Tower, Long Shot out with the Sui. So the rest of the base is really not too scary. We get the main part out with the Sui. This is what I'm looking for. I just want the Sui to take down the Rage Tower, the Revenge Tower, and the Town Hall. That is what I'm looking for, guys. Now, let me show you the replay. Let's start this. Pulling Clan Castle troops off to the corner over here. Perfectly executed. Very nice, Gavin. And I think the Headhunters are super annoying here. Oh no, I just put a Baby Dragon here. Baby Dragon can actually deal with all of this. Just Baby Dragon and some archers. Super easy CC to deal with. Now, we wall break here. I'm using the troop launcher again, because it would make literally no sense to run the log launcher. We're just going to open up one wall. Why would we do that? So we get the troop launcher in here. I put the golem and the ice golems in. I love the golem ice golem as like synergy over here with the Sui. It is my personal favorite. You can use, like, I think I said this earlier, you could use druids, healers, you can use just a bunch of ice golems, you can use a bunch of things to tank with your Sui, but I really like the golem ice golems. But now look what I've done over here. This is what I meant by funneling the Sui. I have 3 Yetis in my army. All 3 of these Yetis are used for funneling. I put one here, one right there, and one right there. All this is doing is taking out these outside buildings to ensure that my Sui is going to go right in there towards the Rage Tower, because they need to take down the Rage Tower. So I'm using them. I also put a Headhunter here, I think, to take down this enemy RC. I don't know if that actually works, but we will find out. But these Yetis are so important because they have funneled out this entire part of the base, which in return makes it so there's no other possible spot my Sui could go except right into the Rage Tower. This is exactly what you want. You want to use your funneling troops, and then we put the hogs in right now because you don't want your Sui to take too much damage. The key with the hogs is basically put them in before your Sui is taking too much damage. And remember what I said earlier. If your queen never dies, your Sui was perfect. And pay attention to the queen. She is about to die, but we save her with the most clutch save of the century, and we put the Warden ability. We click the Warden ability right now and keep the queen alive. This is how you know you did a perfect Sui. We can then rage through this last scary part of the base, and the base is going to be completely crushed. But as I said earlier, if you don't know if your Sui was good or not, you can tell by the queen. If the queen lives the entire battle, it was perfect. If the queen dies at the very end, it was very good. And if the queen dies early, it was not good. I'm gonna keep saying that because that is how it goes. That's how you tell. The queen is alive at like half health right now, which is brilliant, and we have crushed the base. This is how to get a good Sui right here. I guess this dude had a corner Tesla. That's kind of funny. Anyways, though, we're going to check out one more replay, and then we're going to do some live attacks together, just a couple, and I will try to point out as best as I can, like, what my thoughts are with the Sui. Alrighty, last replay I want to show you guys is the good old classic Invis Rage Core. These bases aren't too popular anymore, but oh boy, at Town Hall 17, they were the meta, and they are super duper easy for this army. And the beautiful thing about these bases is you do not need a very good opener. The Sui carries you on these bases. All I really need with the opener is to take down one compartment and pull out the clan castle. So we're just going to go for the compartment that's by the clan castle. We'll pull out the clan castle troops, and that's all you need on these bases with this army. It's a little bit different with other armies, but yeah, with this army, it is really, really easy. We just get the Sui, or we get the RC in here to take out this compartment, or at least majority of it, and pull out the clan castle, and then as soon as the clan castle has been pulled out, we can pick up the royal champion. I think I should pick her up right here as soon as these CC troops come out. I actually pick her up a little prematurely because I did not want her to trigger this Invis tower. Very important, do not let her trigger that Invis tower. It's going to make things a lot harder. But you notice we have not got a CC pull, so we have to think. Now we get the Genius 1000 IQ. We're going to put these little hogs in here right onto the Expo, which in return is going to pull out the clan castle troops. There's always other ways of doing things. Even if you mess up your first phase, you can still pull out the clan castle. Triple Ice Golem CC, super easy to deal with. We just pull it off to the corner. We can use a poison and a Valkyrie to kill all of that if we play it properly. And then I'm going to start my Sui. I'll show you guys in just a moment, but we deal with these Ice Golems over here. We go Valkyrie, and we can just chuck a poison on that, and it is good. Now, I'm going to screenshot the base and show you guys how much of the base the Sui is responsible for. So as you guys should know by now, the two spots where we could start the Sui would be right here or right here. And I didn't want to put them here because then they'd be frozen up on Ice Golems and we'd waste like 20 seconds. So I choose to put them over here on this side. Let me remove these red marks. And the job for the Sui is they got to go in here and take out like this and the whole entire core. Now you may be thinking, Gavin, how are you going to take out the whole entire core? That's a really toxic core. It's super easy because we have the log launcher, and then the hogs, by the way, will wrap around this outer perimeter of the base, and they'll be able to easily do that if the core is not in the picture. So the Sui, they have to go in here and get this core taken out. So what we're going to do is use the log launcher, something like this, to trigger the Invis tower, and then once the Invis tower is triggered, we're going to get the king in the middle, pop the king's ability in the middle, and the base will be gone. On these type of bases, you only have one thing you need to accomplish, is get the king ability into the middle. That is the only thing you need to do on these bases. Just get the king ability into the middle, use as many spells as you need, use as many troops as you need to force the king ability into the middle. Trust me, it is 100% worth it, even if you use every single spell you have to get the king ability into the middle. So we've got the golem and the ice golem up front to tank. We've got Yetis now starting a funnel over here. Beautiful, looking perfect, and we don't want to deploy the king just yet because I need to make sure he's not going to walk. I need to make sure he's actually going to go inside, so that is why we will wait for the king until this wall is opened. Wizard over here to finish up the funnel. Now the king goes inside. Log launcher has triggered the Invis tower, but we don't have the king in there just yet. It looks like the king's going to run off to this compartment, which is not what I want. So what I do, I use a spell to force the king back into the middle. Look at this. Perfect. Invis redirect. Look at this. Covers all the buildings in this compartment to then, in return, force the king back into the middle of the base. And as I said earlier, all you need to do on these bases is just get that king ability in the middle and you will be just fine. Then we have the hogs going in like this to ensure that the king won't wrap right around and go back outside. King ability in the middle takes down this entire core pretty much. And then the Yeti Mites can go in there and finish off that revenge tower. Hogs can finish off the rest of the space. And the queen can go in here and take out the town hall. On these type of bases, you really don't even need your queen to live till the end. But if you do, then you've done the attack perfectly. I don't remember if she does. We will find out together. But yeah, as you guys can see, this was a perfect Sui. We got the troops right into the middle of the base. Hogs can wrap around the outer perimeter. This is how to play Super Hogs. This is how to get a Sui. It is really not that hard once you get the hang of it. Looks like the queen is going to go down. I could have... Okay, I was a slight second late on the freeze. If I put the freeze down half a second earlier, the queen would have lived. But it does not matter, because the queen lived till the very end of the attack, which means we did a very good Sui. It wasn't perfect, or she would have lived the entire raid, but it was still very good. And as you guys can see, the base is completely crushed. So if I missed anything in this little tutorial, let me know, guys, in the comments below. If you have any questions, if you're confused about anything, just ask me, and I have no problem clearing up the confusion for you. I love responding to your guys' comments, by the way. I don't get sick and tired of them, I promise you. I love responding to them. So, yeah, I've shown you guys like 4 replays, 1 on each of my accounts. Let's go do a couple live attacks, and I will do my best to try to guide you guys. Alrighty, let's take a look at this base. So, this base, well, the Sui needs to take down this Rage Tower in the core. That's really all they need to do. And then the RC Charge needs to pull out the Clan Castle and take down, like, a compartment out of here. By a compartment, I mean, like, the Monolith, Multi-Gear, and Poison Tower. And then we just need to get the Sui into the middle, and we should be good to go for a 3-star, hopefully. So, yeah, what we are going to do is just put the RC right here. She should be able to get the Monolith and a CC pull. Bunch of good stuff. But the Sui is the focus of this video. So that is what I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on. There is Furnace in there, it looks like. We'll just poison it. RC right over here. And let's go like this and pull that Ice Golem away. Perfect. Let's see where the RC goes. Okay, we'll use one more spell, I guess. Why not? And then we're probably just going to pick up the Royal Champion. Fox, can you come over here so I can get you in the recall? Thank you. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to kill that Ice Golem over there. And we can start either by this enemy king or by this enemy minion prince with the Sui. Kind of just depends how it's looking. Right now, we'll go deal with this Ice Golem over there. And I think it looks fine to start over here. It doesn't really matter which side we start by. I think both can work. We will then go Log Launcher just like this. And we need Yetis to help and funnel out this side of the base. We'll put a Headhunter, Yetis, Wizard right there. Just a bunch of troops to help funnel. And then the King will go in as soon as these walls are open and there's a clear path for him to go inside. We just have to be patient until then. Let's just see. What is the King doing? Okay, that gold storage not going down is a little bit problematic, to be honest. We may or may not have to use an Invis Redirect. We will see. Let's put the King in now, and it looks like we'll probably have to use an Invis Redirect. Yep, we're going to Invis Redirect and force the King back inside. Very important that the King goes inside on these type of bases. Imagine these bases as like an Invis Rage core. So we're going to go like this. King ability. Ideally, the Queen would have also gone in there and helped out the King, but she didn't. She's kind of useless sometimes. I think it still works, though. We're going to just Rage the Yetis in the core and poison or Headhunter on this enemy hero. The King, yeah, King takes down the whole core, and we should be good to go. This is how to play Super Hogs, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing too complicated. We'll Warden ability probably over that Giga Bomb. Maybe we won't even run over the Giga Bomb. That would be kind of funny. We'll just Warden ability now. Why not? But yes, this is how to play Super Hogs, guys. This is how to get a Sui into the core. In a perfect world, the Queen would have also went in there with the King and took out the core. But remember what I said. If the Queen lives for the entire raid, your Sui was perfect. Queen lives for the entire raid, so it works, and we absolutely crush the base, guys. This is how to do it. It's really not that hard once you get the hang of it. Let's do another live battle, though, and let's see how it goes. Alrighty, next base. What do we have here? I don't think I've seen this base before. Oh, man. Okay, I hate attacking bases I haven't seen, guys, because, like, I just don't know how to do them. It kind of takes takes 1 or 2 tries to really get the hang of a base. Well, I see we can get a free Monolith and free Revenge Tower and a free CC pull, but I don't think that's going to be enough. We really need to get the RC into here, but the Bomb Hive's guarding that. We'll see what we can do. Monolith, Revenge Tower, CC pull, that's a start, but I do need the RC to go a little bit deeper. Let's see what we can do. We'll double cycle every time here on out. RC, are you a genius? Question mark. She's in a nice spot. I don't love it. I don't love it, but we can make it work. Don't love the charge. I think we can make it work, though. So, now what the Sui has to do is go and take out the Bomb Hive and the Town Hall. That's their job. As for how they're going to do that, it could be a little bit rough. What I will do is we'll start the Sui on the weaker side. The heavier side would be over here with this Inferno and Wizard Tower. But I think I like the weaker side a little more, just because I think it's higher chances of the Queen surviving all the way to take out the Bomb Hive and the Town Hall. So we'll see what we can do. King can go in there like that. And we can start funneling out this side of the base. Let's use Wizard over here to funnel. And I think it's looking okay. Not great, but I think it's looking okay. We just have to make sure we get really good king and queen abilities. The Sui just has to be really, really good. We're going to Earthquake here to hopefully help open up some walls. Log Launcher needs another log after this, and then we'll be looking good. Perfect. Log Launcher did do good things right here. Not going to lie. And then the Hogs got to come in. I really need that Poison Tower triggered, to be honest. Maybe Yetis trigger the poison. Oh, they do trigger the poison. Okay, that's kind of clutch. Let's put the Hogs in now like this. Queen ability, king ability. The Sui was good. I like the Sui. RC charge is pretty good, so we should get ourselves a 3-star. Wasn't perfect, but it was pretty good. We'll go Warden ability now over all this damage. Oh yeah, I like the Sui definitely quite a lot. Most definitely. This should be crushed. Yeah. Let's freeze here. The queen will go down eventually, and as I said earlier, if it was perfect, the queen never would have died. And it wasn't perfect, but it was good enough. The queen lived till basically the end of the raid, and that means that it was a very good Sui, just not perfect. We do absolutely cook the base, though. Man, I love this army so much. Hopefully, I'm teaching you guys a thing or two about how to do these Suis. Look at the value we got from this Sui. It took down literally half of the remaining base, which is just absolutely insane. Let's do another live attack, though. Alrighty, what do we have here? Oh, this base is a perfect example, guys. If you've already been watching my channel for a long time, you guys know that this base is impossible to fail. But if you are new here and you've never seen me before, watch and learn. This is literally the easiest base in the game. It's literally impossible to fail. I have screwed my RC charge up so badly. I've even killed my Royal Champion, and we still absolutely annihilate this base. So, if you're failing on this base with Super Hogs, I don't believe you, because I don't think it's possible. Basically, all we do is RC charge like this. We can get the easiest, insane RC charge ever. We can take down this entire core effortlessly. We're going to also pull the CC in just a moment, but right now I need to focus on the Royal Champion charge. We're going to go like that. Okay, I screwed up, and it's fine. I wanted the RC to go into the middle, but as I said earlier, I have screwed up my RC charge on this base so badly, worse than this many times before, and we still absolutely annihilate this base. I will show you guys exactly how. Basically, so if you screw up your RC charge and it doesn't go according to plan like that, you then have to adapt on the spot. What I mean by that is you have to think about the base. Well, okay, so think about it. There's 2 really highly stacked rage towers left on this base. We have to deal with both of them. Now, you may be wondering, how do we deal with both of them? Well, it's simple. Heroes deal with one, and Hogs deal with the other. But how are we going to do that? I will show you guys right now. First, we're going to pull these clan castle troops off to the corner, and we're going to have the heroes deal with the one that's right on the outside, because it's super easy to reach, and the rage tower's already been triggered. And then, as soon as there's a nice funnel, we'll just full send the Hogs right into the middle, and we should be just fine. I will show you guys what exactly I mean in just a moment. Let's try to get the ice golems pulled all the way to the corner if possible. Okay, we're going to have to go like that. Not exactly what I had in mind, but it works. Anyways, we got to get going. I'm wasting a little too much time. Let's get going. King, queen, everybody over here. And we shouldn't even time fail. We should be just fine with time. Let's put all the headhunters in at rage. And king ability like this. Perfect. And then we're going to put the Hogs in a second. As soon as like this fire spitter and ricochet cannon are about to go down, we're going to put the Hogs angled right onto this air defense, and they're going to go straight into the middle. We'll Earthquake in the middle, and you guys will see exactly what I mean by the space being literally impossible to fail. We can just Warden ability through the middle, heal through the middle, and this base is easy as that. You can screw it up so badly like I did here. I wanted my RC in the middle, and that didn't happen, but it's not even going to matter. It doesn't even matter because the base is completely crushed. It doesn't even stand a chance. This base is quite literally impossible to fail. I genuinely don't think it's possible. Like, we're not even going to time fail either. I'll save this Hog for cleanup, I guess, because why not? But you guys will see we are not going to time fail. Even though we took forever with this attack, the queen is still alive, and this is how you know you did a good Sui. If your queen lives till the end of the attack, that is exactly how you know. And as you guys can see here, the queen is at full health, the royal champion's at full health, the warden's at full health, and my RC charge was absolutely trash, and we took forever to pull out the CC. This base is just literally impossible to fail. That is how to get a good Sui on it, though. Queen lives till the entire raid. That is how you know you did it right. Alrighty, guys. This will probably be the last attack of this video because I don't want to make this video too long. It's probably already been like a half an hour, but let's think about this base. So for this base, Well, we need to RC charge one Rage Tower and pull out the Clan Castle. Then the Sui will go in there and take out. Can't really see just yet. We need to do the opener before you can really tell what the Sui needs to take out on certain bases. So what we are going to do is probably RC charge right by like this Archer Tower. Looks like we'll be able to get the Rage Tower taken out from here. Alright, Fox, come on. And I think we can single cycle our first time, but we'll have to double cycle every time after this. Yeah. Alright, let's click the haste now. We will double cycle. And let's just try to get as much value as we can. I don't know exactly how much we're going to get, but whatever we get should be sufficient, to be honest. Okay, we get the Inferno. Honestly, we pick her up. I don't need any more value than that. I don't want to be greedy. I'd rather keep the Fox in this situation. It didn't look like we were really going to get any other defenses anyways. I'd say that's a pretty good charge. It's good enough. We'll let this Furnace go down. And then the Sui, I'll put the Sui into the Town Hall. If there's like... This is, I don't know how to explain it exactly, but if there's like a chance where you can get really good troop launcher value, like this is good troop launcher value, where there's just like a bunch of stuff stacked closely together, with a bunch of walls like this. It's really good value for the troop launcher. I'll show you guys exactly what I mean here. We can go wall break there. But yeah, look at this troop launcher value. We can just, we'll wait for that Ice Golem to go down, because sometimes the troop launcher does stupid things. And then we will go like this. Troop launcher does stupid things. Okay, the troop launcher should shoot all these troops into the middle here. Yes, beautiful. And we can just use all the headhunters. Yeah, there's no more enemy heroes, so we'll use all the headhunters, toss a rage. And see, this is good troop launcher value. When everything's stacked closely together like that, it tends to work out really, really well. I'm thinking about which side I want the Hogs to come in from. And to be honest, I'm going to put them in like this. Opposite side. Seems good. Where's the king? Should I click his ability? Yeah, why not? King ability right there. Queen ability. We are looking good. Oh, there's actually Teslas around the outside of the space. Let's freeze the revenge. And the Sui did really, really good. The queen may end up dying at some point, but it shouldn't really matter on this base. It seems like we're still going to crush the base and get a 3-star. Or actually, no, the queen might just live for the entire raid like a boss. And yes, as I said earlier, that is how you know you did a perfect Sui, guys. If your queen never dies and the queen is still alive, that is exactly how you know. That is the easiest way to tell. So this was a good attack. I have not actually hit this base before with Hogs, so it was a new experience for me. I think if I would hit it again, I liked everything except the Hog placement. I'd probably put the Hogs a lot quicker, or just from this same side over here. Either way, though, it worked, guys. This was a pretty good example of a Sui. The queen stayed alive. She took down literally half the base with the king over there. And yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I'll link my Hog army down in the description below if you guys want to try it out. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully I could teach you something. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you're new here, and if I taught you something new. So yeah, with that being said, thank you all for watching. I appreciate your time, and I will catch you guys again tomorrow in a brand new Clash of Clans video.